Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Banshees of Inisherin, and we're going to talk about a lesson that we can use as Dungeon Masters to help to when we have a non-player character who is interacting with player characters or other non-player characters. How do they get somebody to do something that they want them to do without villainy? It's a fascinating question, right? So let's jump into this. So first of all, hey, I'm Scott Garibay, right? And I am really fascinated by dungeon mastering because I think one of the reasons why I'm fascinated by dungeon mastering is I am incredibly blessed. I'm an evangelical Christian, and that has transformed my life. And basically, once I became a Christian at the age of 15, it simply set I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now, and there's this, you wear this little thing on your head and you activate it and it shows you a path. It literally is like your character's going to go here, here, and here, right? And it was the same thing with Christianity. Christianity was like, you're going to be a Christian, a husband, and a father, right? And I didn't, and the Bible just said, it said, oh, hey, you don't have to be a husband or a father. You could be celibate the rest of your life. And I'm like, no, do not want. And they said, well, if you want to have kids, you're going to need to be a husband and a father, right? And that was my whole life, right? Like, be the best Christian I can be the best husband I can be the best father I can be. And that literally determines 75% of all the actions I take, right? And so I have this path, and I know it, right? Like, and I know when I fail, and I know when I succeed, and it just sets things right. But I have this incredible sympathy for the lost, right? What path do they have? How do they make their lives better? How do they achieve human flourishment? I know my path to human flourishment. Not only does it help me flourish here on this planet for 75 to 125 years, but I'll be able to then beyond human flourish forever, right? Like, so I'm taken care of, right? But y'all lost people, you got nothing except what Gary established, right? Dungeons & Dragons is the only thing that sets a path for secular people and actually helps them to be more, right? And I'm really fascinated because, like, with Dungeons & Dragons, one of the things is you have to be able to depict anyone. You literally have to populate an entire world, which means if you're going to be a good dungeon master, you never get to stop thinking, learning, or growing, or changing, right? Because you always have to be learning more about humanity. So it's a way for a secular person to learn, grow, and change, right? I don't need it, right? And to me, the reason why I use Dungeons & Dragons is it does help me with that other 25%. But for some of you, this is the whole ball of wax, right? And guess what? Some people are literally making it their life. You know what Kyle Brink just said in his interview with Nerd Immersion? He said, D&D is my life. D&D is my life. D&D is my life. He has dedicated his life to it. Okay? You follow me there? Right? Like, you're like, do you understand how deep this runs? I'm not the only one saying it anymore. Right? Pretty interesting. Right? All right. So basically, you reach this point where, we have to control entire worlds. We have to be able to pick up a player character, a non-player character at any minute and do and say what they need to do, right? Now, villains are pretty easy. We know how to run villains, right? Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen shows us, right? How do the villains get people to do what they want, the non-player characters to do what they want? They bribe them, they threaten them, they terrorize them, right? These are all ways that villains get people to do what they want, right? So we know how a villain gets other people to do what they want. But Banshees of Inisherin does something really incredible, right? It says, how does one person get another person to do something they want them to do, right, without villainy, right? What if you can't terrorize someone? What if you can't threaten someone? What if you can't, coerce or bribe someone, right? How do you get it done? What is a way to make someone do something you want them to do without costing them, right? Like, and it's really fascinating. It's a fascinating question, but Banshees of Inisherin answers it, right? So there are these two Irish farmers, Colm and Patrick, okay? Colm wants to learn, grow, and change. Patrick wants to remain dull and have fun, right? That's the path. Colm gets sick of Patrick and says, you are no longer my friend, right? And says, I need to grow, learn, and change, and I need you out of my life to do it. I need the time that I use sitting in the pub chatting with you to do important things and to be better and to be more and to learn, grow, and change, right? Patrick's like, I don't want to let you go your own way. I don't want you to learn, grow, and change. I want you to keep cutting goblins in half with me, right? I want you to chat with me at the pub, right? You getting it? Like, are you doing D&D for human flourishment, or are you doing D&D for human fun, right? Patrick or Colm, two paths, right? Okay, so Patrick's like, no, I'm gonna keep bothering you until you're my friend again, right? So Colm comes up with a way to get Patrick to stop talking to him, right? And he says, this is what I'm gonna do. He says, I don't want you to talk to me again. The next time you talk to me, I'm gonna chop off one of my fingers and I'm gonna hand it to you, right? And every time you talk to me, I'm going to chop off one of my fingers and I'm going to hand it to you, right? And so this is fascinating, right? This is absolutely fascinating. So basically, Colm is not doing any harm to Patrick. He's saying, I'm going to harm myself, right? Like, and he's like, I'm serious about this. And what's really fascinating is Colm is known as a man of his word, and this is a lot here too. So Banshees of Inisherin is like, hey, when you say some words, the things that come out of your mouth better happen, right? People are like, oh, D&D be gone. Oh, hi everybody. Here's my coverage of D&D, of Keys from the Golden Vault. All the words that came out of my mouth meant nothing. I am not a man of my word. I just slink back and did whatever's convenient. Yeah, like, so one of the lessons of this film is make the words that come out of your mouth matter because they're true, right? Like, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Do the words that come out of your mouth matter, right? Last year, I made a promise to one other person on YouTube. I've kept that promise, right? I do what I say. Do you, right? It's a powerful lesson from Banshees of Inisherin. And when Colm says, I'm going to chop off one of my fingers and give it to you if you talk to me one more time, people knew he was serious because he's a serious man. And when words come out of his mouth, they matter, right? Not D&D be gone today, and here's my review of Keys from the Golden Vault the next day, right? Yeah, exactly, right? All right, okay. So, we have this, we're going down this path, right? So, Colm says, and so basically, Pedro comes right back to him and talks to him again. Colm gets drunk, right? And that's another part. What happens from fun, right? When you're not serious, some bad things can happen. And this is one of the reasons why I keep saying, use D&D for human flourishment, not for fun, right? Because I know a lot of games that are supposed to be fun, right, for D&D, and then they end up in chaos, right? And the reason why is it's just you're using a sledgehammer to crack walnuts, right? It was never designed. Dungeons & Dragons was never designed, in my humble opinion, for fun. It was designed for human flourishment, and that's why so many weird, unusual things happen around it, right? And just go on YouTube, go on Twitter. You will hear outrageous stories that have happened at the table, right? So, yeah, it's definitely a thing. All right. So basically, what's really fascinating about Colm's decision is essentially the answer of how does a non-player character get another non-player character or a player character to do what they want without villainy is, one, be willing to take a drastic action and make sure that the price paid for that drastic action is paid by you, right? You can't make somebody else pay you, right? Without, a transaction is a transaction. But what if you need something? What if you want something and the other person doesn't want to get it, right? This is a path to getting it, right? Colm is like, I will do this action, right? And then he has to do it, right? Pedrick gets drunk and goes to talk to him, and so Colm cuts off his finger and gives it to Colm, right? And what's really fascinating about this is once he's done this, Pedrick realizes he's serious. I need to do, and he should have known it beforehand, right? Because Colm was a man of his word. He had already shown that, right? But because it was so drastic, actually, you know what? Pedrick didn't even think about it. He got drunk. That was the problem, right? And that's another thing is like, I'm a teetotaler for a reason, right? Like when you're drunk, you do things that cost people. And what Colm was saying is like your drunkenness, your absolute voracious pursuit of fun, and your unwillingness to learn, grow, or change is going to cost somebody, and it's going to be me, and you're going to watch that cost, right? And what's really fascinating is the moment he does it, Siobhan, Pedrick's sister, goes to Pedrick and is like, do not talk to him, right? So Colm's desire for Pedrick to not talk to him, that's what Colm wants to accomplish, is Pedrick not to talk to him, right? It becomes the community's problem. And no longer is Colm saying, don't talk to me. The whole community is saying, Pedrick, for the love of goodness, do not talk to Colm, right? He's gonna, and Colm says, the next time he talks to me, I'll chop off all 4 fingers. I'll chop off all 4 on the hand, right? And like, so he's saying, I am serious, right? So I think this is fascinating. You can get somebody to do what you want, right? If you are willing to take a drastic action and the price that's going to be paid is paid by you, right? So in Dungeons and Dragons, well, we have a non-player character, and we need to, because I did not know the answer to this, right? I had often said, well, you can't get nobody to do nothing, right? Because I'm not a villain, right? So if I need to get somebody to do something, there's not a lot I can do, right, to get that done. This is a different path. This is saying you can get somebody to do something without villainy if you're willing to take a drastic action, you're willing to do what you say, and you're willing to pay the cost yourself, right? Because if you're willing to do those things, the thing you want will become what the community wants. That's fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. Banshees of Inisherin is a brilliant piece of art that every dungeon master should watch in order to understand humanity, to portray humanity correctly. Every word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.